Good morning, RotoGrinders. We got some MLB DFS going down today. In theory, we're going to play, 4 games? We're at 4 games, Blender. Normally, I do that as an homage, of course. If you guys are normally tuning in, you get Blender yelling at you in the morning with his coffee or whatever kind of wakes him up. I guess it's this monster.
You sounded constipated doing that. Do I really sound like that?
Sometimes you break the microphone. There's a bit of a cackle to it. Yeah, it pops, and it's always fun to watch your co-hosts kind of jump like they don't even know it's coming. It's if they haven't been on the show before. But yeah, I don't know if I saw you don't do it as well as you do. It's just that's my best Blender impression. You said I sounded constant. No, that's not what I was going for.
It sounded like you were trying to get out a really big poop.
And a good morning to you.
That's kind of what this MLB slate looks like.
You know what? That is a good yeah, for sure. I was super excited to play some Tarek Skubal today, even some Pablo Lopez. I was digging into Skubal stats. His reverse split stuff against righties. Minnesota's going to load up a bunch of righties against them. I was going to put the over in the sports book on them. And we lost Minnesota, Detroit. Kevin Roth won't let us have nice things. And the other one, like our last man standing, or I shouldn't say last man standing, our best ace standing is Freddie Peralta, but he's barely standing, and he might get knocked off as well because that game is currently orange. That's Milwaukee and Cincinnati. I'll go ahead and drop this in chat for the people. What's up, chat? Good morning. Kindly hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. I see Paul is excited about the Masters. I did play a little bit of Masters. I dabble in the golf streets. Why not? And I feel like there's more fish for the Masters. I don't know that to be certain, but I imagine that's the case. Blender, I know you play all the sports, and most of the sports you care. I mean, I'm certainly not watching the golf. There's no chance I'm watching the golf. That's not for me. That's for the birds. But do you play a little Masters, little golf in general? No,
I haven't played PGA DFS in a while. I do have a bet out, but only because of all the boosts. Like you get these promos and stuff. So basically, I'm rooting for Rory McIlroy.
Okay. Yeah, I thought. Well, there's a huge favorite.
The only reason is that it was the line that was the most off when I was doing my promo. I mean, there's no other reason for it. Just it's like Scotty Scheffler was about the same on all the books, and Matsuyama was the same on a bunch of books, and Rahm was the same. Like McIlroy was off by like 10 cents or something. So I'm like, okay, if I'm going to get it, if I'm going to get plus 1,100 when other places have it at plus 1,000, that's what I'm taking. So that's the only reason I'm taking.
Is Scheffler was like plus 450 or plus 400, which, again, I'm no golf aficionado, but for like an outright, that's a big favorite for golf, like favorite, relatively speaking. Obviously he's not favored to win. You'll take the field over him, but you don't really see a plus 400. For the Masters. I know back in the day, many, many years ago, like Tiger, and there was obviously the books are probably taking advantage of all the rave. But Tiger was like even money some weeks, which is just crazy. But yeah. All right. There's your golf speak for the show. Mr. Educational is asking for NHL conversation. Is Tim normally with you on a Thursday? Is that what's the thing is here?
TK or something like that. There's only like a week left in the NHL season. It's not like it's a big deal. Same for NBA. Like NBA and NHL are, they're going to be entering the playoffs within 10 days.
Yeah, I'm excited. Do you care for you don't care for hockey, right? You like hockey DFS, but you don't. I was just saying you watch
hockey DFS, hockey props, but I've watched bits of hockey the entire season.
What were those 20 minutes? Do you remember? What was the highlight?
It was early in the season because I was just starting to play NHL DFS this season, and I had I had like the bunch of guys in like the late game or something, and there was nothing else on. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go. I'll put this on. It's on Fox Sports or something, and there you go. And I watched like the third period or something. That's it.
All right. I feel like I guess it doesn't really work just because of the ice. I think one thing that kind of hurts the viewership for hockey: 2 halftimes. You get 2 halftimes. If they had 2 30-minute periods,
all the intermissions, Dean.
I know it's called. I know
3 periods. There's no. There can't be 2
periods. I know it's
intermission. Can't be 2 half times. That's mathematically impossible.
They're essentially half. They play the role at
third times, if anything. Call them third times.
There's only so many times you can roll out Red Panda, and then they don't have great halftime shows or intermissions. There's Tim intermissions. Like I don't know if did you get the NBA League Pass? Like Red Panda, who's retiring, was spectacular. Like there could be like a 10-game slate in the association, and I'm stuck watching like a dog catching frisbees for 10 minutes. I'm like, this is spectacular.
Why would I have League Pass when I don't watch anything?
Oh, Blender, seriously, it's a write-off. If nothing else, just at least get it just in case. Maybe you have somebody that's coming over and wants to move.
Who's coming over to see me? Do you know me?
I have no idea. We have Henry in chat says, good morning, guys. Bring on them hot baseball picks. Let's roll. Yeah, I would love to. I would love to have some hot baseball picks for the people today. It's just that our options are so limited. Like we're down to 4 games. We lost Minnesota, Detroit. I went ahead and dropped that in chat as well. We have Milwaukee, Cincinnati. Straight orange. Straight orange is kind of scary. Ross color coding. He'll be on in about 40, 45 minutes or so. He'll give you some clarity on this, but as of this writing, I'll go ahead and read it on behalf of Roth. Kind of like yesterday, but uglier. They did end up getting that game yesterday that they actually had to delay it a bit. There's fairly widespread showers and storms in the area with a little clearing in the afternoon. Playing this game will likely take some sort of late start or delay. Plus playing through rain, plus still a chance of an early ended game or postponement. It's possible they just avoid the headache and early postpone it. I'll know a bit more first pitch, and we can see with the radar when it's opening up. And again, I say I'm reading on behalf of Roth there. That game is 1:10. It's about an hour after the first game on the slate, which is the Mets taking on the Braves. Of course, they rained out yesterday. Same pitchers coming back today. Jose Quintana and Winans. Man, but yeah, Peralta the best pitcher, like the best arm talent, but not a great ballpark to pitch in. The weather issues, we'll see. Stay tuned on that. Cincy, good power speed combination as an opponent as well. Hunter Brown versus Brady Singer, and then John Gray, who's been horrific to start the season. 2 tough opponents, to be fair. The Cubbies, and I think it was the Astros, and today he gets the the cure, potentially the cure that is the Athletics. JP Sears on the other side. How do we see this slate here, Blender? I know you're going to give out some props to the people as well. They're talking about some props. I see Will in chat who just says this slate ... That says a lot. I could have just said that instead of all those words and saved a couple minutes or so. I'm sure the prop shop is still hopping. If you guys are dabbling in those props, check out the prop streets in Will's prop shop. That's in the Discord channel. That is free for anybody. RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Just jump into Chiefs prop shop.
Front slash, Dean.
What
year are we in? Front slash. It's not a back
no.
slash.
It's a front. I've been saying front backslash wrong. I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
All URLs are front slashes. The backslash. What are you going back to MS DOS or something? Who does the backslashes? Are like no. That's for like command line stuff. It's always front slash.
How has nobody ever corrected me on this? Are you certain of this?
Because I don't know. We got look. I mean, what? Look at some of the people that come on these shows. How technically inclined are they? So come on.
Well, producer Steve is like there all the time. You're basically calling him out.
He's not paying attention. Steve's sleeping. It's 11 in the morning. Who wants to produce a show 11 in the morning? He put us on. He knows that I'm here, so I could talk for 7 hours, and he just goes to sleep.
I can't believe that I've been saying it wrong this whole time. Okay. The slash starts at the bottom and works. I don't know how to.
Way up. That's a front slash. That is a slash. Have you heard URLs be said? It's on RotoGrinders.com/Discord or anyone.
You know what it is?
Rocket Money.
No, hold on a second. You didn't say front slash. You just said slash. That's what I got to do.
Slash assumes that it's a front slash.
I should make
slash means front slash and backslash means backslash because you have to signify that it is a backslash. But no one uses back. When are backslashes used anymore?
I don't know. So front slash is the standard. You can just say slash.
It's a standard slash. That's correct.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying. I'm just going to say slash going forward.
That's what you should be saying. That's why it was odd for you to say backslash. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I should just say slash. Yeah. And that way I can just ride the bench. Either way, I'm right. And people are tilting golf. I thought the golf was delayed. I guess they're officially playing now because there are some weather issues in Augusta. But
why don't you do the whole URL, Dean? Why don't you make sure that people know it's https:// RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Why don't you just do the whole thing? If you're gonna do backslash, you might as well do the whole thing. They may not know. There you go. That now you could remember.
Do the kids know who that is? Do the kids know who that is playing the guitar there? The guy with the hat. Do they know who that is, Blender?
Guns N' Roses.
I know who it is. Of course I know who it is. I said, do the kids know who that is? If you're like 22 years old, you know who that is.
If you're 22 years old, you're probably not watching the show anyway.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
The guitarist is front slash. Yeah. No, the front man is Axl Rose. But all right. Let's talk.
Basically, Freddie Peralta is going to be 1,000,000% on the slate.
Well, no, not
probably rightfully so, because he projects better than every other pitcher on the slate now.
You're looking at ownership stuff, and ownership is saying he's over 50% on DK because you got to roster two of these guys. But you know what? There it is in chat. Guitar Hero taught the people who Slash was. Yeah, there you go. What were the other Guitar Hero staples? Were you a Guitar Hero guy or
Through the Fire and Flames by Dragon Force? That is the quintessential Guitar Hero song.
What is it? Which one?
Dragon Force, Through the Fire and Flames. It's the hardest song ever on Guitar Hero.
Oh, not the hardest one. What's the standard? What's on the Family Feud board? People don't go with that one, I don't think. Is it? Unless I missed out.
Go with it.
Yeah, I think you're being a contrarian here. Okay. So the Peralta thing is you have a decision point. Magic Carpet Ride. That's a good answer in chat. I feel like that one was more popular in your suggestion. So, and again, the decision might be made for us. They might just wipe this game out, and then we might be down to a 3-game slate, and we got to roster 33% of these dudes. 2 out of 6. Somebody asked the other day about rostering relief pitchers, and I don't do that unless it's like a 2 or 3 game slate, and there's really extreme stuff, and the pitchers are all terrible. I don't think we're at that predicament just yet. I saw you shaking your head. We're not considering relievers just yet, right?
No, we're not considering relievers. No.
Okay, just want to be clear. And this isn't like a core slate where you want to get all the expensive, bats on a team that has an 8 total. Right, there are some good bats out there, of course, Texas, Atlanta, but you still can get most of the bats and get theoretically a competent arm. But the Peralta thing is weather. We don't know how long he's going to go, if he's going to go at all. That game is at 1.
I assume if this Milwaukee-Cincinnati game starts, that it will complete.
No, you weren't listening when I read Ross' weather report, were you? You were thinking about slash and backslashes and front slashes, because Roth was talking about there's a chance the game would end early, or they would have a stop-start as well.
Yeah, but if it ends early, if Peralta goes 6 and it ends early, what do I care?
Well, you're assuming 6. What makes you assume 6?
I'm going under that. If they start this game, they have the intention on playing. If they start delaying this, then that's a different story. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's the Peralta question doesn't come down to do you play Freddie Peralta. It just comes how much risk do you want to put into your lineup, and how much your weather risk is there. There's no. If there was no weather, obviously there's weather, but if there's no bad weather. In Cincinnati, I mean, we were just saying, obviously, Peralta's the top pitching play, and that's it.
Sure.
Everything else, everything else is the question. And to me, the most interesting, I think the biggest strategic point on the slate is what you do with John Gray and what you do with Oakland. Because I think choosing between Hunter Brown, Brady Singer, Alan Winans, all these other guys are – you could take a shot on anything. I would put Hunter Brown and Brady Singer. I'd be much more inclined to play either Brown, Singer, or Winans than John. John Gray has looked really bad, but he's 6,500 and he's facing the A's aren't good. But on the other hand,
breaking news.
John Gray has looked awful that the Oakland A's could also kill him. So
2 tough teams. I mean, again, if you want to give him an excuse, 2 tough teams, 2 tough opponents. It's early in the season. He's a professional. He's thrown baseballs professionally for a while. Not the best pitcher, but always mostly competent at throwing baseballs.
But it's the walks that's the Dean. To me, it's never how hard they're hit. It's the walks. I typically like attacking pitchers that walk a lot of batters because it puts your stacks in the position to get extra points because more plate appearances and more people on base when you knock people in and stuff. So I'm only playing 3 lineups.
Yeah,
I could definitely see myself playing a John Gray lineup and also an Oakland stack.
of course. And I'll tell you what else you can do. You can thread the needle and you can play John Gray and like 2 A's. That's not nuts either. I know you're making this
not
face.
on this slate. If this was a 13-game slate, Dean, I'd start to scold you.
Of course. Why would I talk about the strategy with 13-game slate on a 4 or 3-game slate? Of course, I'm talking about this specific.
The thing is,
you can do that.
The weird thing is that if you're gonna play Gray with an Oakland bat, I think playing him with a lefty bat.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, because you want Gray to have a good game, but get hit once, and obviously I'd rather take like a Seth Brown.
He's the
someone
obvious
like that.
Or Toro, but Brown's the obvious.
Right. Because the thing comes in is that the lefties are actually the more likely ones to be pinch hit. And if Gray gets knocked out of the game early, like your lineup sucks anyway, because Gray only went 2 1/3 innings.
But everybody else is going to have him
anyway.
Especially if you lose Peralta.
Right. But you understand the point is that you want Gray to have a good enough game that if your lefties get pinch hit for, they've already hit their home run off of Gray before. I mean, the only reason we're talking about this is that because this could potentially be a 3-game slate.
Yes. I'm checking out the bullpen for Texas. I want to see how much lefties they actually have in the bullpen. They got 2, Burke and Latz. Burke has not worked since Monday. Latz worked yesterday through 16 pitches. Yeah, they're both kind of middle relievers. Neither kind of they're on their closer.
And you're talking about lefty relief pitchers in the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we're talking about. What do you want to?
Well, I mean, there are other people in the bullpen, Dean. How about the catchers? There's probably some equipment managers in there. I mean, there may be other lefties in the bullpen.
Well, I mean, the bullpen catcher doesn't really affect the game, though. I don't think.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're going to count lefties in the bullpen, I mean, you might as well count them all.
So like when we're talking about a 3 or 4 game slate, this is when I start getting into bullpen stuff, or like Giants. Like if they're starting against a righty pitcher, how many lefties do they have in that bullpen? Things like that. I'll note like specific teams. I think it's important to some degree. I wanted to see Oakland's bench because I don't. How motivated is Oakland to like run out some pinch hitters? Is the other question. Because we do have their official lineup, I think, right? Do we have the A's lineup? I'm
pretty sure. I don't think so. No.
No. We project the lineup. Also, I wanted to say this: Cincinnati. The Reds are notorious for being like one of the first teams to release their lineup. Correct? You know this? They're playing in 2 hours, allegedly. What have they not done?
They haven't released their lineup. That means they're missing.
No, that means it's a tell. Like they know they're not playing.
Maybe they're missing.
What do you mean? Where are they if they're missing? What do you mean?
That's what it's the point. That's that. Maybe the weather's fine. Maybe the weather's going to be absolutely fine. People have looked for them, and now they don't know. All these 9 people, they're missing.
The entire team is missing. Well, the bench guys are available.
The bus is late. I don't know.
I just look. I'm not. I put my conspiracy hat on. I just think that they probably would have released the lineup if it was like 75 and sunny. We've seen it many times where lineups are released and the game is canceled 10 minutes later. Just the thought. And we've had no Milwaukee lineup either. Now that game does start at 1:10, 2 hours, but typically we get that Cincinnati lineup. Stevie's going to be on, by the way. Stevie's going to be on with Kevin Roth. You really want to hear what Roth has to say in crunch time, about a half hour or so. Dave Potts also coming on. Cheeseisgood of the $1 Million Musings. Stevie is already dropping some great knowledge about his velocity being down a tick. He's saying the movement looks good. His first pitch strikes have been the biggest issue, down 7%. And that's small sample stuff, like whatever. But it's good to know that. It's funny because I was trying to pull up the Plate IQ on the fly, and somebody was mentioning it. Plate IQ apparently is I keep refreshing. It's temporarily down. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to Plate IQ, but the weather got Plate IQ as well. Hopefully it'll fire up soon enough. Yeah.
We got an Astros lineup in.
And?
Noah Abreu.
Singleton?
Noah Abreu. So it's the same top of the order. So Altuve, Alvarez, Tucker, Bregman, Diaz, then Singleton, Pena, Caratini, Dubon.
Okay.
So basically McCormick, Abreu, and Myers are not in the projected line.
Andrew in chat.
That doesn't change much. Just to let it doesn't
No.
matter.
Andrew in chat's asking about umpire data. Really nothing as far as umpires. Specific to Texas, what do we have in Texas? There's no extremes on the slate when it comes to umpires. The specific Texas umpire is a slight hitters umpire. That's David Arrieta. I knew you were asking, like, well, what's his name? It's David Arrieta. He is a hitters umpire, but not extreme. Not extreme. I mostly care about the extremes. You probably care about none of it because it's all in the projections anyway, right?
That's correct.
There you go. So what is how are we going to be different? I was just writing the expert survey today. Had to change and pivot on the fly a couple times because the news flow was forcing me to do so. One of the questions they asked on the expert survey is how are you going to be different on this slate, Blender? I know you don't play the 40,000, 10,000 entries. You don't have to be crazy different necessarily. You got to be different enough. And 400 people, 500 people. What is our strategy as of now? And this again, it's fluid as well. It could change, but how are we going to be different in this slate to separate yourself?
I'm going to build my lineups with a funny shirt on, just to be different. There's not that many ways. I mean, truthfully,
well, you got to answer the question. I had to put an answer to it. You can't just say that and move on.
Truthfully, I mean, assuming this Brewers Reds game plays, I'm probably going to play Freddie Peralta plus either Hunter Brown, Brady Singer, or Alan Winans. Is that his name? Alan Winans.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, to me, the top stack on the slate is clearly the Rangers against JP Sears.
It's clearly Rangers over Atlanta, clearly?
Yeah, from a price perspective, of course. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Are you talking ownership as well, or just who's most likely to score 10 runs?
Yeah, who's most likely to score 10 runs, right? I mean, that type of I would to me, I would rank the stacks, not ownership considered, to be Rangers 1, Braves 2, Brewers 3, Oakland 4, and then I guess the Astros and Royals. I'm more interested in the pitchers in that game. The Astros and Royals to me are your one. If you want to play a Vinny Pasquantino one-off or Bobby Witt, you have money at shortstop and you're playing Bobby Witt as a one-off. If you want to play Alvarez or Tucker or Altuve, one of these guys, I mean, it's not like they're going to be low owned. I mean, I still think Alvarez, Tucker, and Altuve will still be 15+% owned anyway.
What's low owned though? Everything is relative, and the slate is so small. So low owned on an 11-game slate as opposed to a 4-game slate, different conversation. You're cutting that pie up differently. So
yeah, but there's a difference to me. I think the Braves guys will be considerably lower owned as one. I think guys like Olsen in a lefty-lefty matchup.
Yeah.
Riley at 5,700, Ozuna at 4,800, Michael Harris, Adam Duvall. I just think that at these prices, there are going to be people that are more likely to play a Brewer or a Ranger or I mean, it's not like the Braves are going to be unowned. I mean,
the flip of that, by the way, the flip of that is people love their immediacy, and that is the first game. Hand builders, I would say. I know if you're building with the Sims or whatever, you don't care about immediacy necessarily. You're taking things you don't necessarily. You're not even watching the games. Sometimes you don't need the immediacy of watching the games, but that is the first game, and it's the first game for an hour. So I think it affects ownership. I don't know how to quantify it, but a little bit. Do you agree with that, or you don't agree with that?
I don't think it's going to matter that much.
Okay. I feel like there's a few people. It was a Squirrel. Squirrel was talking about, remember his theory about the office workers in New York specifically. I don't know why he said New York.
Right. Yes. Because their lunch break, and they want to watch the first 2 innings of the Mets-Braves game.
They're not stacking the Royals.
Filling all
the
these
Royals game starts hours later. They're stacking the Braves.
Right.
So take it up with Squirrel.
The thing about this slate is that you can spend like salary isn't an option. Another way of getting different easily is just don't dude, if you're playing the A's, for instance, if you're playing a 5-man stack of the A's, you could play Toro at 2,500, Giloff at 43, Blade at 35, Seth Brown at 3K, Langoliers at 32. I mean, you'll have so much salary that you could play Acuna, Alvarez, and Olsen, but those guys could always put up zeros. So feel free to instead of playing Olsen, play Rhys Hoskins, and instead of playing Acuna, play Michael Harris. And you could leave 4 or 5K on the table and still have a correlated lineup, and you'll see if that come. Who says Ron? I have 8,000 left. It's obviously I'm just gonna play Ronald Acuna and leave 1,500 on the table.
Sure.
Why don't you could play Adam Duvall and leave 3,000 on the table?
Adam Duvall is going to turn to Jared Kelenic in the 6th inning, but he homers in the 3rd, so who cares?
Right. Yeah, Duvall's not probably my least favorite, the guy that I least would want to play on the Braves.
Still waiting on you said we got the Houston lineup, right? So no Texas and no Oakland. And again, the longer we go without a Cincinnati lineup, it just tells me, come on, we're almost an hour and a half till first pitch. No Cincinnati lineup, no Milwaukee lineup. Just saying.
They're in traffic. They're lost. They're just wandering.
They're at the ballpark. They're playing cards or something. They're probably not even in the field.
Right.
It doesn't feel very good. Don Yeezy's telling me to settle down. What did I say? I don't know if he just wrote that for something I said a minute ago, or if that was relative to something I just said. I don't know how quick the internet is sometimes. Stevie, by the way, is telling us that the team is aware of Plate IQ having an issue, a server outage issue, so they are working on getting it up ASAP. Brandon's telling us that you're going to love this, Blender. I'm sure you're well aware. But Winans did face the Mets previously last year, gave up no runs, and within a week faced them again and gave up 7 runs the other game versus the Mets. So what does that mean? That means nothing to you, right? You don't care about any of that.
It has to mean that the outcome has to be one of those two things then.
There's no chance of middling it.
It can't be in the middle, right? Because
7 or 0, no more, no less.
Which one was the first? Okay, so I'm assuming it goes good, bad, good, or is it trending bad because the last one was bad?
Are you the guy that goes to the roulette wheel?
Is he hot or is he due? I never understand which one it is.
Yeah, people are speculating that Cincinnati game's not going to play. I don't think it plays either, but I'm not going to pretend to be weatherman. And they're going to tell us at some point, and Roth might give us, he's going to point us in the right direction. And again, if you guys are just joining us now,
play. It's the only game that I have a home run prop for.
What is your home run prop?
Oliver Dunn.
Oh, you must have got a good number, like 6-1 or something.
Not plus 900.
Okay, yeah, I figure you have to get a pretty strong number there.
Right. The only home run props I have today are that and multiple in the Orioles Red Sox game.
Oh, I don't know anything about that game. I'm looking at my Orioles Red Sox. Oh, yeah. Oh,
you gotta get in early, Dean, dude. I got this. Oh, whoa! I can't look at the 7:00 game. You're like, dude, you got to get the best price. Got to get the best number.
G-Rod versus Whitlock. The weather doesn't look great for homers. As a kind of a quick glance, 53 degrees expectations tonight. I hope you got some good numbers.
I mean, if they're going to give me Tyler O'Neill at plus 650, I'll take that all the time. Come on,
that's pretty good. Yeah, I don't want to pick on
Devers at plus 525. I mean, give it to me.
Yeah, you got a line shop. Is that all you got today as far as any pitching props?
Or for home runs? When in doubt, my pitching props are always unders. I mean, if you would just blindly bet unders at pitching, you're probably taking the props. Okay, we're getting an A's lineup in, and it's not as expected. Okay.
It's worse or better?
No, I think it's
Zombies
worse.
In there?
I mean, it's hard to get worse. It's okay. It's Toro, Geloff. Is that how you pronounce? I don't know how you pronounce it.
I believe it's Geloff. I think it's Geloff.
Geloff, Toro, Geloff, Blade, Brown. Okay. Then it's Nevin, Noda, Butler, Hernandez, McCann. So it's mostly so no Nick Allen and McCann for Langoliers. And J.D. Davis isn't in either. Sense. That Nevin's in, and as far as I know, Nevin. I mean, like I said, I don't watch the games or anything. Doesn't Nevin have like a 7 million % strikeout rate?
I don't know if it's that high. Let's check. Maybe you're thinking of Phil Nevin back in the day.
Yeah, then maybe I'm thinking of Phil Nevin. There's some Nevin that I know. It has to be from DFS. I know that I played a Nevin that always struck out.
Well, Phil Nevin was pre-DFS.
Then it's a different. Maybe it's his son. I don't know.
Yeah. You're thinking we're talking about Tyler Nevin. I'm pulling up I was going to pull up the plate IQ, but unfortunately, plate IQ is currently down. 6'4", 225. He's a big boy, Tyler Nevin. Let's see. We got, what is he? I don't think it's crazy as far as his strikeout stuff. 24% for his career. Like, it's not great, but it's not terrible. The bat projects him to strike out at 21.6%. Yeah. Okay, Steamer 22. You're thinking of somebody else.
Yeah. Rangers lineup is out, and there's a small change. So no Evan Carter, and Andrew Knizner is in at catcher, and Keim is the DH. So we got Semien, Seager, Langford, Garcia, Heim, Duran, Wenzel, Knizner, Tavares. So basically, it's pretty much as projected. Other than we got a cheaper catcher available. What is his price?
By the way, the N is silent. It's Kisner, just a heads up.
Kisner? Yeah, it's 3,100. Okay, 3,100. I mean, I'd still rather play Heim at 38, but
Stevie says happy Wenzel Day, and like I was digging into him. Oh, there's the postponement. Yep, there we go. That was. I tell you, the tell was Cincinnati saying we're not even going to bother releasing a lineup. They're the first team, like they're the favorite every single day. If they're all starting at the same time, to drop their lineup. They didn't drop their lineup an hour and a half before the game. They're telling you they're not playing. Yeah. Well, I thought Cincinnati would be like an interesting quote unquote leverage play, but like so much of that's what I was writing about after I adjusted other stuff, and I gotta throw that away, throw out the garbage can.
Well, good luck playing two. Good luck getting a 20 total points out of your pitching today.
Yeah. But yeah, so I guess I'll say I'll take 20. I think I'll take 20-ish.
20 total. I'm talking about 20 total between two pitchers.
I'm adding the ish. Yeah. I just wanted to talk about Wenzel. I guess Stevie's going to talk about him. I was less impressed than Stevie. He's like a 26-year-old prospect. I should know, not even a prospect. He's 26. It's like an oxymoron. He's 26 years old, and he had 30 homers last year in the minors, but like against dudes that are like 7 years younger than him. He better be hitting 30 homers. And like, there's a reason why he was never called up before. Yeah, he's super cheap, and he's got power, and you can play him. But like, don't get fooled and think this guy's good. Like, all we care about.
2,100. How good does he have to be for 21?
Yes. I just want to clarify that like he's not good, but you can play him. Stevie's getting excited about this guy. He's not a prospect. He has some power. He's got some flaws. He's got pinch hit risk as well, but he's super, super cheap. And if he makes stuff work, by all means, you can play him. And
right. He's like the DVD when you go to back in the day. You go to the DVD bin, and it's like $1.99 DVDs, and you go and you find
back in the day. Is that bin still in existence? Like
I don't know, and you find some, it's some like knockoff Independence Day B movie, like kind of like sequel thing, and go
yeah. They made a sequel to Independence Day starring Steve.
So like they do the theme like it stars like Brian Bosworth or something like that, right? Remember he was in movies.
The Boz, yeah.
Like sure. It's $1.99. Why not?
Speaking of O.J. Simpson, who was in the great Naked Gun series, Officer Nordberg. I loved the Naked Guns. They were making Naked Gun, by the way. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, starring the dude that has a particular set of skills. What's his name? Yeah, he's got a particular set of skills. That's not helping you out, really? You got nothing?
Liam Neeson?
Yeah. He's playing the role of Leslie Nielsen, Officer Frank Drebin. But,
how many Taken movies were there?
Like 4. Like 3 too many, I think.
How bad of a dad can you be that your daughter gets taken that many times?
I don't know if it was always his daughter. I think it was a family member that would at some point.
Still, that's a really bad track. I mean, at some point, CPS needs to be called or something.
I think it was Cousin Oliver, the 4th one. Taken 4, Cousin Oliver was taken. Yeah, Matthew, we're down to just 3 games. We're down to 3 games. It is it's slim pickings out there for sure. Mets, Braves. So you got a roster of 33% of these guys. You ready? Jose Quintana, Alan Winnes, and I should say this is DK. Obviously, you on the roster. One of these pitchers on FanDuel. Hunter Brown, who's a pretty good reverse splits pitcher, by the way. That's why I really like Bobby Witt today and some of the righty power. Nelson Velasquez and Garcia. That's kind of my favorite sneaky stack. I shouldn't say sneaky stack. There's nothing sneaky. It's a 3-game slate. So Brown, Singer, Sears, Gray. Gray's going to be like 80% owned. It's going to be ridiculous.
Well, good. I'll play the A's against him. That's fine.
You're supposed to play the A's, I think, or like play an A or two with him.
There's no aces. Just to be clear, now with the Brewers-Reds game done with no Peralta, there are no eight. There's no there. These pitchers will be owned, right? There's no aces. Like these are not like. Can Brady Singer have a good game against the Astros? Sure. Can Hunter Brown have a good game against the Royals? Can Winans have a good game against the Mets? Sure. But I mean, these aren't aces. Like if John Gray is going to be, 50% on, I mean, I'm not scared of any. There's a big difference between should I stack the Cincinnati Reds against Chalk Peralta and should I stack the Oakland A's against Chalk John Gray? Like that's two totally different sentences. So like, don't be. I'm not scared to roster any of these pitchers, and I'm not scared to roster any of the stacks. I mean, it's a 3-game slate for crying out.
AJFL says, "Can I get my contest buy-in?" I think so. As long as the contest is not filled, I believe you can jump out if you want to, just step outside and touch grass or something like that, or fire up. You can hit up the dollar bin and get yourself a nice DVD, or go to Redbox and hang out with Head Chopper. So we're down to just.
Does Redbox still exist?
I think that they kind of rebranded like video games now. I'm not sure. Let's ask the people in chat. Somebody can tell us in chat. Does Redbox? I think that they still exist in some capacity, but not to the extent they want to.
That have no internet access, like in the middle of nowhere.
I don't know. When was the last time? Tell me the last time you went to Redbox. It was like $1 movie, and you have to go back the next day, put pants on theoretically, and return it. Otherwise, I guess they hit you with some late fees or something like that. Do you care about this year's stats, or you like to blend them with last year's stats? I like a bigger sample if possible, unless things have kind of drastically changed. In a small sample, we've seen a spike in Brady Singer strikeouts this year, but it's just 13 innings, up to 29.2%. The walks are good too. But if we stretch everything back to last season, biggest K rate on the slate is Hunter Brown at 26.4%, 24.1% for Winans, 21% for Gray. Walks a little bit of an issue, 8.6%. Sears at 21%. Quintana doesn't miss bats, and he's taking on Atlanta. He walks too many guys as well. And the ballpark is a negative ballpark shift. So I am not in on Quintana. Of course, you can roster him because I guess you got to roster 33% of these guys. I'm cutting out the fractions. You're only making 3 lineups. You're not playing Quintana, right? Let's just do that.
No.
So who's left standing? You're not playing Quintana.
I'm probably going to play one John Gray lineup, one Oakland stack lineup, and the other pitchers are going to be like Brown, Singer, Winans, just a combination.
Are you playing FanDuel? You just said one pitcher.
No. I mean, in combination.
Oh, well, you got to be clear about this. Yeah, because there's different sites, there's different builds.
But I mean, I'll play like a Hunter Brown, John Gray lineup, a Hunter Brown, Alan Winans lineup, and like a Brady Singer, Alan Winans lineup, or something like some type of like those three. Those would be my 3 or something. And then I'll play. I have no problem playing. Just give me the Rangers, give me the Braves, give me the A's, and I'm done.
Unreleased lo-fi music. Winans or Hunter Brown on FanDuel. You can only roster one.
I would say Hunter Brown has a long. I think from a pitch count perspective, I'd prefer Brown. He's much more likely. I mean, neither of them are likely, but Brown is much more likely to get the quality start. So, like Winans probably, I don't see going. I mean, he'll probably 85 maybe max or something.
We got 80 as his median pitch count for what it's worth.
Right. So that's to be fair on this slate, the guy with the longest leash may be Hunter Brown.
I think Singer can go 6-ish if he's pitching well. It's just a tough matchup.
Yes, if he's pitching well, right.
But that's the big qualifier. You got to put.
And the problem with him is walks also. So like that's if you want to play Houston, if you want to play Astros on the slate, I mean it's a 3-game slate. There's no one is unowned and no one is like off limits, or like if you want to play JP Steers against the Rangers, and then you play a Brave stack, nothing's crazy. It's 3 games.
Yeah, That's kind of what I wrote about, like, in a 3-game slate. It's that whatever my quote-unquote rules are, I will loosen them up. And you're probably going to take umbrage with this, but I think you can go, 3,
You
3,
can do
2.
your one. You can do Dean on a 3-game slate. You're free.
Just homer hunt, man.
You feel free to play play 2, 3, 1. Play a batter against your pitcher. I mean, really, dude. Once we lost Peralta, I mean, I'm not doing it, but I wouldn't consider it crazy. I'm using crazy. Not it's. I think it's crazy, but it's not crazy to just plug
Crazy's
in like
relative. It's relative,
right? Relative. If you wanted to plug in a 4K relief pitcher on the slate, and then just stack the Rangers and the like you play something like I'm going to play John Gray and a 4K relief pitcher, and then stack the Braves and the Rangers. I don't think that's crazy. I mean, I don't think you should do it.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't react as like you're just burning, you're just throwing the money into the furnace, like, because it's quite possible that out of these 6 pitchers, half of them may have a negative score.
I don't want to go down this route, but I'm just curious. Do you get points for a save? Because if you sort of like picture, say you roster Gray, you can kind of guess who their closer is. Although Texas's bullpen is a little bit rocky because Leclerc has been rough. I'm just sort of. Is there actually like a designated like 4 points for a save? Do you get points for a save? I don't know this. You don't get points for a save? I feel like you should get points for a save. And Showdown, I'm sure you do. I don't play Showdown, but I assume so.
No idea.
Why would you not get points for a save? Points for everything else? Huh. Somebody in chat let us know, or I can check it out on the site.
That's the type of slate where that we have to get. We've been playing DFS between us for like 25 years or something, and we still don't know. Like this slate has gotten to the point where, well, maybe you could pick up points at pitcher with saves. Did they give out those points?
I don't know. I'm trying to find it on the fly. I know we got Stevie coming in. We have Dave Potts. Cheeseisgood. Maybe they know offhand. Roth is here, and I was going to be like, well, Ross Day is fully in the clear, but it's not because, Atlanta, they always have those pop-ups, right? Those scattered showers. They're yellow-orange, just to be clear. That's not like the scariest of colors. And, if you know his color coding, the first color is the dominant color. Yellow, not as scary as orange. But still, we have to at least acknowledge it. And Roth probably has an update on that as well. And curious what he has to say. That game starts in about 30 minutes, give or take, 35 minutes or so. Yeah, you got the crunch time coming in about 5 minutes or so. And we'll see if we get some clarity on Atlanta and the Mets. That to me feels like more, if anything, probably a delay, but probably not a big threat to cancel the game. But, we'll see what Roth has to say. Peter says 0 in Classic, 5 points in Showdown for a save. All right. So much of that theory. But, you can sort of kind of guess who's going to be coming in. But I'm not doing that. I'm not playing enough lineups. And I think at least 3 of these pitchers get you, at least 5 points. Not a rousing endorsement. But, you made a face. You would take the over or the under on at least 3 of these pitchers getting you 5 DK points.
I would take the over on that, yes.
Yeah, I mean, we deal with probabilities and all that kind of stuff, and certainly goofiness could happen. Your willingness to roster hitters against your pitcher. 2, 3? What's the max you'd roster? Or is it kind of
in large field? I mean, maybe 2.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not doing it anyway because I don't think it. I mean, I'm playing like I said. I'm playing like the 88 and the 121 and stuff where it's 300 to 500 people. I don't think there's a need for it even on a 3-game slate. But I mean, I wouldn't play expensive hitters against your pitcher. But I mean, if you wanted to play Gray with like a Seth Brown one-off or a JJ Bleday one-off or something like that, I think
I'll play 2 against him. I don't care.
That's acceptable. Well, I wouldn't play 2. I don't want him to give up 2 home runs. I want him to give up 1.
Well, he's not going to pitch 9 innings.
Well, yeah, but the lefties may come out of the lineup because the lefty comes in out of the bullpen.
Don't prioritize winning. They don't care about winning.
They don't care. They're going to Vegas. Who gives a crap? Right?
Well, they're not even sure if they're going to Vegas. They're going to Sacramento. Have you not heard? They're going to Sacramento to a minor league ballpark. Their owner is excited about Aaron Judge hitting homers in that ballpark. That's like something he actually said, which is just I feel bad for the Oakland franchise. What a fun franchise. What a storied franchise. Great history. And is going out on a whimper. But, speaking of going out on a whimper, crunch time is here, Blender. We got to bring in Kevin Roth. We got to bring in Stevie and Dave Potts. Cheeseisgood. We filibustered for 47 minutes. I'm not sure what we said specifically in regards. We play whoever you want.
The main thing that we learned, Dean.
What have we learned?
We learned that when you say URL, it is just a slash, not a backslash.
I also learned that nobody was like, why did nobody correct me? Why did nobody step in and just
no
say,
one cares about you, Dean? That's what.
They thought I would lash out at them. It's like, man, how dare you call me out on that? And you did it on air, Blender. It's insulting.
Well, I pay attention to what you say. Most people don't.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. You know what? I pay attention to what Crunch Time has to say. Let's hear what they have to say. Let's bring on Crunch Time. Kevin Roth, 2 down, 1 to go. I think it's the easiest one, right? As far as the start today, the most dicey games are already gone.
Yeah,
but now we got Atlanta still standing.
Mm-hmm.
We have that game starts half hour or so theoretically.
Yeah, and I caught your take on it, and I think you're right. I think it's probably just a late start and play. Also, Blender, that was the meanest thing I've ever heard you say when you told Dean no one cares about you. I was just a dirty cut, man.
You missed the start of the show. That's like third or fourth on the board just for today.
That was brutal.
I say that's who I am. I say the things that people think and don't say because it's inappropriate.
Yeah. Is Dave frozen or just stoic?
I'm just I'm changing some of my 85% Peralta. I'm going to leave some of them in there for sure because the 0 seems pretty solid, as you guys were talking about. But yeah.
Dave, the most number of hitters you'll roster against your pitchers today is what?
I have quite a few 2s.
Ooh,
two hitters against pitcher.
A's versus Gray. Is that the most common one you're getting?
Actually, no, it's in the Houston KC game on both sides.
Okay. Yeah. It's I'm curious to hear your guys' analysis. Just 3 games left. And like Roth, it feels like I guess I'll give some more clarity to that, but it seems like that Atlanta game's going to go, if not, when it's scheduled at some point. But Blender, you got anything you want to say something nice? I'm not going to force you to, but you certainly can. Anything, or just something nice, not specific to me, just in general, because you're known for like your positivity in the industry.
What the nice thing is, we got some day baseball for all those office workers to watch during lunch. So
you won't be watching
those contests and take their money.
Blender, that's the best you can. All right, fair enough. We'll round up and we'll give you a C. We got Crunch Time. We got Stevie. We got Kevin Roth. We got Dave Potts. Cheeseisgood. Want to hear what they have to say to how to be different on this 3-gamer. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff as always, Dean and Blender. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. It's Crunch Time, and this is the new Crunch Time where we get to hang out with Stevie in the afternoons, or in this case, in the freaking mid-morning. What's up, Stevie? How are you, bud?
Doing good. Glad that we at least got like the news right, so we don't have to worry about it, and we can make we've had plenty of time to make changes to lineups now. So it stinks because like all the pitching on the slate was in those 2 games. But overall, I'd rather at least know, and we're all playing the same slate. So yeah, I mean, good day. Yeah, it's day baseball. Can never get mad.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, I realized the slate would be more fun if those games were in and clear, but it was going to be a shit show. Like, it was going to be stressful. We weren't really going to know. It's just easier this way, in case you missed it. Cincinnati game and was it Detroit? What was the other one that got postponed? Detroit. Yeah. Those 2 games are out. It does leave Atlanta still on the docket with some likely rain. More on that in a bit. But first, we bring in Dave Potts. Cheese is good in the house. Cheese. Peter says, "This Dave is 100% thinking about lunch," which I like.
Pretty excited. Like the best part about the early starts is then like I can really take my time with lunch.
Yeah, right. You got no stress. You got no worries. You just really get to enjoy it. And Ryan says Roth and Cheese are perfect together. Thank you. I agree. Cheese, we're perfect together.
Isn't it beautiful?
Isn't it a great thing? All right, enough of that nonsense. Let's talk about some weather here. I mentioned the Atlanta game. I think it's pretty clear what they're going to do. I think they're going to announce a late start. There's really only one batch of like more moderate rain, and it's probably 20 minutes out. And so if I'm them, I put the tarp on now. I announce a late start now. I let that one batch move through. It will be a brief delay, maybe a 30-minute late start, maybe less. And then I play baseball. And I think they likely play baseball uninterrupted from that point on, although certainly still a chance of a delay. The bottom line is I fully expect that the game will play. And I think especially since we've only got 3 games, if you want pitchers there, I think it probably works out. Even if it was 15 games, I'd say go for it. Certainly with 3 games, you take that risk and you go for it. And just in time, K-Town's fine. I said, hey, how's the weather in the Mets and Atlanta game? And there you have it. I think for the most part, it looks good. If we care, just generically, I realize not on the slate about Philly and or Boston. Both of those games I actually do expect will play. So if you're doing some season-long stuff and trying to figure out what to do, I do think both those games will play tonight. So that's it from me, really. And I think with that, we can kind of dive into things. Cheese, you want to give me a rundown of what we've got left on the slate?
We still have all the bats we originally wanted. Would have played some Brewers bats, but essentially
now we can afford them all with like crappy pitchers.
That's the problem. So we have zero pitchers. There's not a single, even moderately safe pitcher on this slate. There's not a single realistic upside pitcher on the slate, but we're still, you probably get 15 points out of a couple of these guys. And, but I think the big picture is I don't really care who my pitchers are. I'm not going to try to play this game where, let's really try to figure out who scores me 18 points instead of 12. I don't care who my pitchers are at all. I guess theoretically I want a little bit less JP Sears and Jose Quintana than everybody else. But out of the other pitchers, I'm kind of rifling through all my Peralta lineups. I don't care who I'm putting in his place. It's just I'm clicking one of the names, ideally not against my stack. That's all it's so close with all these guys.
So can you list literally what are all the names? So
officially, I'll put them in the order of how I'm playing them. It's Alan Winans, Hunter Brown, Brady Singer, John Gray.
That's it? Was that 4?
That was 4.
Isn't there 6?
And the other 2 are JP Sears and Jose Quintana, which I think I have 2 JP Sears and maybe 1 Quintana total on both sites. Because the thing, without the aces now, you don't need the JP Sears salary on DK. The reason to maybe play some Sears earlier was it gives you the salary, but salary is just no thing at all now. I have 4 pitchers at basically 25, 25, 25, 25.
Okay.
If I have to make one kind of stand somewhere, I'm going to be underweight on John Gray and overweight on Oakland bats. But
is that just an ownership game?
Yeah, it's just among the guys who all 4 of those guys have to be chalk now, just because that's what the slate is. And he's the guy that I think probably gets the most ownership. And I think he is the least talented pitcher of the group. He has the best matchup, but I still prefer to be underweight on the least talented guy.
Sure. Makes sense. I do want to note really quick in the chat, I've seen a couple people say, hey, what's the deal with SimLabs? It was there. I was using it and now it's gone. It's not gone, but it is behind the paywall now. It was free just as it was in beta and we were testing it. And then the tests came back positive for awesomeness. So now it's moved behind the paywall. Just FYI. Good time to sign up for RotoGrinders Premium, though, and make sure that you can grab it. Never been a better time, actually. You can get yourself a 6-month combo subscription, exclusive price of $469.99. That's a savings of $250 as opposed to buying 6 individual months of combo premium. Or you can do a little test run, little 3-day pass, $19.99 if you are looking to just dabble in them streets and see how it works for you. I highly recommend you check it out. With that, Joshua says, "Hey, it was nice, nice taking it for a test drive while it lasted. Sign up, 3-day pass, $19.99. I highly recommend you jump on it." Stevie, what are your thoughts here in pitcher? Wait, real quick, I should add, a beat writer in Atlanta said nobody's warming up in Atlanta, so the game is likely to be delayed, which goes along with my expectations. Late start and play, likely without issue. Stevie, your pitcher thoughts?
Yeah, they all stink,
Yeah, that's a thought.
I mean, yeah, like Cheese was kind of saying, I don't feel like you're comfortable playing any of these four guys, and I'm not playing Sears or Quintana. I have 3 to 5 teams on both sites, and so I'm just not even getting there. Like, if I'm going to be different with some builds today, it's going to be like leaving a lot of salary. Like, I just built a FanDuel team that had like $4,000 left over. And I like the team. So, yeah, I mean, just leaving some salary. I like the Oakland stack against John Gray. John Gray is going to be one of the chalkiest pitchers on the slate because he's facing Oakland, and they kind of stink. So, yeah, I mean, playing a little bit of Oakland against Gray, but, I mean, if I had to rank, like, the four guys, I think Singer's still my favorite, even in a tough matchup against Houston, just because I think he's the most talented of the four. And then I would probably have Gray, Winans, and Brown just kind of 1A, 1B, 1 or 2A, 2B, 2C. I don't think there's like a standout in those three guys, but I like Brady Singer. I think that projections wise, he's not going to project as well because he's facing Houston. And I think if he can just kind of get around Alvarez and Tucker, he could pitch well to the bottom half of this lineup, pitch well enough. I mean, there's no safe option today. You're kind of hoping for like 10 to 15 from your pitcher. If you get 20, it's a really good day. But you're really just kind of hoping your pitchers don't go negative today.
Yeah. Okay. So you're kind of with Cheese, and
yeah, I mean, I just can't do Sears or Quintana. They're just awful.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Well, let's talk about the good on this slate, which is apparently the backs and the stacks. And based on pitcher prices, we have all the money in the world. Stevie, you said you left 4K in one. Who are you stacking up? What's the chalk? How are you getting different?
I don't know if there's like necessarily going to be chalk. If it is, I assume it's the Braves. I mean, the Braves are in a great spot. Texas is in a really good spot. So like, I feel like those are your two most like popular teams is, taking some shots on Atlanta and Texas. Those are my two highest owned teams. But honestly, I really like Kansas City today from a tournament perspective. Hunter Brown has been kind of bad to start the season. He's got the talent. He's somebody that can obviously pitch well. But Kansas City has actually been hitting the ball really hard. Like, if you look at some of their StatCast data, like, everything they're hitting is hard. So if Hunter Brown's just struggling with command a little bit in this game, I think Kansas City's a team that could break the slate. So I like them. And like I said, I mean, I love Atlanta. And I love Texas. Texas against JP Sears just screams home runs. So those are the three teams that I targeted the most here.
Okay. Cheese, how about you? What are you looking at stack-wise?
Yeah, I guess I prefer Texas ahead of Atlanta as far as we'll say chalky, but again, kind of like with the pitchers, all these teams are going to get ownership. Certainly Atlanta, Texas, KC, and Houston. I guess my two favorite stacks are Texas and Oakland.
Okay.
And there you go.
There you have it. I guess there's not a whole lot we can chat about here other than going around the horn. Cheese, you want to start us off with some catcher talk? LBD Titan says, and I like this question before we get into position by position. On short slates, does stacking teams become less optimal or does it become more optimal? I have no idea. Cheese, is it the same optimality?
On a slate like today where salary is also no thing, I would say it becomes less relevant because you can play, like, usually my rule on stacking when someone says, should I play this guy to round out my stack or not? It's, well, how much better is the player you're getting in his place? Well, today, like, you could say, should I stack and put Mauricio Dubon in my stack or play Ronald Acuna? We'll play Ronald Acuna because you have all this salary sitting around. So stacking becomes less relevant when you can just play all superstars. That's my take on it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Let's start. Brandon says, any progress on Atlanta Weather Edge? There's never a historical game. That is strange. That has been the case this season. But then again, as I look at the weather today, you're in the 60s. There's 17-mile-per-hour winds blowing side to side. It's not normal weather yet. So I don't know is there an issue, or is there just actually not any similar games? I don't, believe it or not, I don't have like the behind the scenes.
An Atlanta game hasn't shown up once yet this season.
Right. But I think
so. Is that all because there's no historical data for any of them?
We fixed it as of like 2 or 3 days ago to finally be working. But as of 2 or 3 days ago, we haven't seen one yet. So gotcha. I don't know yet.
I mean, that's possible. I mean, it's
the newest.
It's not like the stadium has been there for 20 years.
Right. So I don't know yet, but it is certainly something I'm watching, Brandon. If it's 80 degrees with light winds and there's no matching games, we got problems. But the weather has been kind of crazy, so I don't know. It's definitely something I've got my eye on. With that, let's dive into it. Cheese, a little catcher talk for me.
Sure. Most of these positions are pretty clumped. I think at catcher, it's Yainer Diaz, Sal Perez, and Jonah Heim are kind of clumped as the top guy. I guess I have a slight preference for Jonah Heim first, Sal Perez second. And then you don't need to save salary for the sake of doing it. So that would only be in a stack thing. But I go Heim, Perez, Diaz in that order.
Okay. Stevie, anything different?
No, absolutely not. I have the same three guys in the same order. I mean, if you want to get different in tournaments, and I don't even think you necessarily have to get different in tournaments today, but if you want to get different on like your Texas stack, you could play Kisner over Heim, but I think Heim is the much better option. But he's going to be, I mean, Kisner is going to get maybe 5%, and Heim's probably going to be like 30%. So, like if you just want to make your Texas stacks a little different, you could take shots on Kisner over Heim, but Heim's the better hitter. He's the better play.
Okay. First base.
Yeah, first base. I mean, Matt Olson might actually go a little lower owned today just because it's like lefty. He's the most expensive first baseman. I like Pete Alonso a lot. I think the Mets are a team that could potentially fly under the radar. Winans is he's talented. He's like hit or miss. I think he's like top 25 prospect in that range. We saw him a little bit last year, but yeah, I mean, Pete Alonso, Vinny is somebody I like. And then again, going back to the earlier conversation of, I think you could play some Oakland bats. I think you could take some shots on Ryan Nada against Gray, and Duran is okay. You just don't necessarily need the $2,700 Duran on DraftKings today.
Okay. Geez, first base.
Yeah, I do. I agree with what Stevie said. Like, even when it was a full slate, I really liked the idea of playing Matt Olson. Just people see lefty and they just don't play it. I mean, it's Matt Olson against Jose Quintana. It's not like your normal lefty where the lefty pitcher is maybe as good as the lefty hitter. Like, it's Matt Olson against Jose Quintana. And yeah, I'll back up what he said on Pete Alonso. Like, yeah, it's a decent pitcher who gets ground balls to righties, but Pete Alonso doesn't care who the pitcher is. He hits it hard and in the air. So you have salary. So give me those two guys. Vinny P is my next favorite play. I'm still playing some Duran and leaving salary on the table more in a stack than anything else.
All right, second base.
It's actually pretty good for the weird small slate. Like second base has become the place to be, I guess. It's like the new first base. Semien, definitely my favorite play. I love Zach Geloff. It doesn't have to be in a stack for me to like him. And then I'm not sure that I have any Altuve outside of a Houston stack because I prefer Semien and Albies at that high price. But certainly I wouldn't yell at you if you were playing Altuve instead of those guys.
Yeah. All right. Stevie, second.
Yeah, Semien, number one guy for me. Ozzy Albies, kind of right behind him. Those are the two guys that I have in most of my builds. Yeah, I mean, Altuve in Houston stacks, but like I don't know if I'm necessarily playing a lot of Houston outside of Houston stacks anyway, because I am playing some Singer. So I think that's kind of one of the reasons that I like Singer is because he is good against righties. Altuve is one of the best second basemen in the league. Zach Geloff, I think, is fine. Really, I think you could play any of these second basemen today. I'd say Lofton's probably my least favorite, but Jeff McNeil is okay too. Kind of, I built a few like Mets, Braves like game stacks because I feel like that game has some really good run potential.
Okay, third base rather, Stevie.
Yeah, third base. I mean, I think third base is really strong today too. Even for this smaller slate, I think Austin Riley, clear-cut top option here at third base. This is a fantastic spot. Garcia, again, I think Kansas City, everything on StatCast data, they've just been hitting the ball super hard. And then, like, we don't necessarily need him, but Wenzel against Sears, like, this is a perfect opportunity for a rookie hitter to face a pitcher that can't really throw the ball by anybody. So I think Wenzel is fantastic. You know, his power numbers in the PCL, he led the PCL in home runs last year, so he has plenty of home run power, and you're getting him at like 2,100. Again, you don't necessarily need the salary, but I love chasing the power upside for him here today.
Yeah, that's interesting. Cheese, I wonder if his ownership is going to be lower than what it's projected, because we were kind of thinking, well, people want the cheap option so that they can get good pitchers, but now there's no pitchers to spend up on. Do you think that drops his ownership? Because right now on FanDuel, we've got him as the top projected guy.
Yeah. So basically, when all the pitchers were in, he was far and away my highest owned batter, like not even close. I like him enough that I'm leaving him in there and leaving the salary, but most people aren't going to do that. Most people are going to see, oh, I can just play Austin Riley instead. I still think he'll be pretty popular because I think third base is one of the more obvious places to save salary, and I think people would rather spend the salary in the outfield. So I do think he's still the highest owned third baseman, but not nearly what he would have been with the Aces.
Okay. So you like Wenzel? You like Riley? Any other guys?
Not really. I do have a little Brett Beatty as well as a one-off. Like Bregman and Michael Garcia are just the guys that just feel like the only in stacks kind of plays, even on a small slate. And again, like I'm certainly fine with Riley, but like I said, I think most people are going to feel like you'd rather spend your money in the outfield.
Can I get an update on Bregman? Like, I thought that he was the dude. He's not the dude, huh?
Well, he stopped running a couple years ago, and he's not really a huge power guy. Like, he's still more of a very good real life baseball player and less of a fantastic fantasy player. Okay. And that's kind of where he's at. Like, he's not a 40 home run guy. He doesn't steal bases, so it kind of hurts his fantasy value.
Okay. Yeah, excellent analysis, keeping me aware of what's going on in the baseball streets. Okay, how about shortstop, Cheese?
We've got two of the better plays on really any slate with Witt and Seager. Seager, unfortunately, will get ownership just because there's so few plays on the slate, but he's got that Matt Olson thing going on. If people see lefty and like, ooh, I can't play that. But again, it's Corey Seager against JP Sears. This is not a good lefty against a decent lefty. It's Corey Seager against JP Sears. So the vast majority of my lineups have Witt or Seager, and Witt is a guy I'm very happy to play in Hunter Brown lineups. I don't have any. I'm not even really looking at who my pitcher is when I'm choosing my one-offs. So I'm fine with some Lindor. Pena and Arcia, I think, are only in stacks. I probably have 40% Witt and 40% Seager and just sprinkles of the other people.
Okay. Stevie, I assume you like those two dudes as well.
Yeah. I mean, Seager, lefty, love it, right? Like, hopefully people don't click his name, but I have a hard time seeing that. Witt is in a fantastic spot. Again, love Kansas City. I did some digging on Lindor, and like all of his advanced stats look really good. He's just hitting the ball right to people. He has like a 83 BABIP right now to start the season. So hard hit rate and everything good for Lindor. So I'm okay with playing Lindor. Pena in Houston stacks I'm fine with, and Arcia is really good against lefties. So like I think you could play any of the five shortstops today. I just think you you almost want to prioritize like Witt, Seager, and Lindor because their ceiling is just so much higher than the other two guys.
Yeah. All right. How about outfield? Stevie, lead us off there.
Yeah, I mean, you get three of the best outfielders in baseball as far as DFS: Acuna, Yordan Alvarez, and Kyle Tucker. I mean, you could put Garcia and Ozuna in that conversation because of how good they are as well. But yeah, Ronald Acuna against a soft toss and lefty. Gotta love that. Yordan Alvarez, Singer struggles a lot more with lefties. Alvarez smoking the baseball right now. So love those two guys. Then you get Garcia against Sears, Ozuna against the lefty. So, I mean, Kyle Tucker, like any of the top options are fantastic. And then we go down a little bit. Wyatt Langford is someone that I really like. You know, this is a guy that I followed his career. He's a Gator. And then Seth Brown, he's cheap. I really like Seth Brown today against John Gray. Like, even in John Gray lineups, I think you could play some Seth Brown. I think Seth Brown is like one of those bats that potentially give John Gray issues. So Brown, Bleday, and maybe DJ Stewart on one or two builds as like cheap outfielders if you need them today.
Okay. Cheese, outfield, your thoughts?
Yeah, my first thought was I was going to say I like Wyatt Langford too. I did not realize he was a Gator, so I like him less today. And
Yeah,
in general.
I mean, that makes sense.
Huge downgrade.
Yeah.
I have a blue dot on him. Let me see if I can remove that real quick here. Okay, so yeah, very obviously the top. I'll say the top four with Acuna, Alvarez, Tucker, and Adalis. Like, that's why I think people are still going to play Wenzel at third. Like, because if you can get three of those guys, which you can, it's very obviously fantastic. But I do like the cheaper stuff a ton as well. Langford's kind of a mid-tier play. Ozuna or Duvall, I think, are fine. And then you've got the Royals outfielders and the Oakland outfielders that I just love. Velasquez, Melendez, Bleday, and Seth Brown. I think I mentioned at the top, like, I have more Oakland than anything. If I'm not over the field on Oakland, then the field has gone nuts because I have like a crazy amount of Oakland, mostly with those guys. So most of my lineups, I actually only ended up with one expensive outfielder in. And I'm just doing the weird thing where I'm either leaving some salary or just spending it in a different looking place, like playing Olsen instead of Tucker, so I can play two Oakland outfielders, or like Velasquez and Langford or something like that.
Gotcha. We haven't heard any word about Atlanta being delayed, right? We haven't had an official.
I don't know. You're my official source, so you. I don't know.
Well, there was a beat writer who said like nobody's warming up, so the game's going to be delayed, and the rain is about to move in, so like it should be delayed. But I haven't seen anything officially about it.
It's a little nerve wracking because I mean, like, we're playing the pitcher for Atlanta in a lot of lineups, and like it would be better if they delayed, right?
I mean, if they go out and go right now, it's probably going to be pouring like literally to start the game. I imagine they just have done a crappy job of updating people, and like it is.
I mean, we've
delayed.
got 5 minutes till long.
Yeah. I mean, if they wait 15 minutes, it'll be dry, and if they, that's just the obvious right move. So I assume that's just what's happening, but I don't know.
The other option is like the Braves realize they're playing Quintana, and like, I don't think we need to warm up, so they're just going to walk out there and start playing. I don't know.
All right, we'll see. I just assume it. Chili says it just got delayed, so there we go. All right, good, because I don't know. Look at that. Hey, like literally right on cue, they announced the late start. There we go. They were starting to make me nervous, but that was kind of an obvious play there. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes for QQs. Not a whole lot going on. And we need, Mitchell says, we need Cheese's bombs of the day. Cheese, you've been hot with these home run calls. No pressure, but you got a few names for me? And Stevie, you're coming up next, so think about it.
Sure. Trying to decide how obvious I want to be. I won't be super obvious. I'm going to go Seth Brown, JJ Bleday back to back. And then I'll go Corey Seager and Matt Olson, both lefty.
Very good. Stevie, you got a couple names for me?
Yeah, well, got to go with my boy Wyatt Langford to get his first home run. It's coming, right? Like, Gator aside, like his first home run is coming.
Yeah.
Way too talented not to. I like Adolis Garcia as well in that same game, and then let's go MJ Melendez. Like his StatCast home run fly ball stuff looks fantastic. So give me MJ Melendez as kind of like a weird one here today.
Okay. Geez, who was the guy who you said, all right, he's the top owned guy. You had a bunch of him when you wanted pitchers. Then we lost those pitchers, but you're still keeping him because you like him.
Wenzel
is going yard.
I like it.
Wenzel is my homer call here.
Oh, 2 first home runs in that Texas game. That'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's the right day for him, for sure.
Yeah. We got a few questions. Where do we go here? Who's the must-play pitcher today? Nope.
No.
He does not exist.
Really, like, we're not being funny. There is no must-play pitcher.
Yeah. Joe says, DK Cash, Stevie, Hunter Brown and Toro, or Winans and Wenzel?
Probably the second one.
Okay. Chinatown says, hey, I've been off the grid. Is the Atlanta Mets game playing for sure? I'm never going to say for sure, but yes. Pretty close to for sure. I feel very good about the chances.
The real answer to that cash question is you shouldn't be playing cash today.
Yeah, that is probably true. Cheese, Albies Nimmo or Alvarez Velasquez?
Alvarez Velasquez.
Stevie, your favorite bats for KC are lefties or righties better?
All of them. I mean, Hunter Brown is not like a dominant reverse splits or splits guy in general. So, I mean, Witt would be my favorite. And then, like I said a minute ago, I really like Melendez.
FanDuel single entry, Cheese, Ozzy or Garcia?
I'll assume we're talking Adolis Garcia. There are multiple Garcias today. If it's Adolis, I would go Adolis Garcia.
It would probably be the shortstop because they're the same price. Always
could like Michael Garcia is playing. Like, so I mean, I don't know what the question is. If it's that, I prefer Ozzy always.
Okay. Just tweeting things. Yep, don't mind me. Nothing as exciting as watching someone tweet on a live stream. Yappy says, DK GPP, can I play Steph Curry in center field? Cheese, that's a you question. Can we play Steph Curry in center?
I don't know. Is he fast?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it helps him that he can, he can probably throw the ball. I don't know if he's fast or not. So I'm going to say no. Don't do it.
Yeah. Okay. That works. Awesome home run call yesterday, Cheese. Yeah. Yeah.
That one was pretty exciting.
That was a good one because you
imagine. I like it when just the random cheap guy does it, and Kevin expertly says they can't walk him every time. Next at bat.
Next at bat.
Pitch, and there it goes.
Yeah. Love that. All right. Hey, guess what? We've hit lock. We've answered all the questions that there were, which were not many. And I think it's time to bounce on out of here and to focus in on some lunch. I think I'm going to make some salmon. You boys got any plans? Cheese, you got lunch plans yet?
I have not decided yet. Okay. It's crazy that like the slate is already locked and it's not even lunchtime yet. Like, what in the world? So I have not decided. I think I might go somewhere. Sit outside if it's not ready.
Okay. All right. Stevie?
It's lunchtime here. I mean, it's 12:20 here. I got another podcast in like 30 minutes. So my wife is picking up some Chipotle right now. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. I approve. All right, gentlemen. Enjoy lunch. Dave says, what are your thoughts on the Philly game tonight? My general thoughts are I think it plays through some lighter rain. But we'll have to revisit that closer to first pitch. For Stevie, for Cheese, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been